Hi, everyone. How are you? My name is Bethany Gonyea. I'm the founding director of Numinous, the grassroots organization that is sponsoring the Louisville Resident Cities Project. And it is with deep, deep gratitude that I speak with you today. In this video, what I'd like to do is share three things with you. Number one is a brief history of the project. Number two, how the 10, 11 days are going to roll. And then finally, I really hope that you finish watching this video and you understand how important you are to this work. Right. So really, I've been working with Dr. Katarina Reinhold, who is a professor of mathematics and statistics at the State University of New York at Albany. And Dr. Reinhold and I have been working together for years. And I often say, you know, we are basically like laying out this beautiful table, but it really doesn't matter unless people come and eat, right? So think of a big, huge holiday, beautiful table, but unless people come and eat, none of it matters. So same thing in this research, like we can do all the background stuff, but only if it's people like you who have these understandings of how their heart is connected to the whole. Only if people like you show up can we do this work. And so we're so grateful to be having this opportunity. So let me just tell you a little bit about the history, the origins of the work, and how we came to be here tonight. And that is literally, it was almost 30 years ago now. I took my initial transcendental meditation training. And as I was sitting in their waiting room, I was looking through their book of all this research they had done that when a relatively small amount of people meditated, there was an overall calming effect on the whole population. And this went on, these graphs went on. And I'm going through this book and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is all we have to do. All we have to do is meditate and all these societal ills will be eased. Like, wow, like this is just a matter of time before it hits the, the ether, right? Everybody knows. And I waited 5 or 6 years. And this was long before Lynn McTaggart or Joe Dispenza or any of those people. And I just kept waiting for this to happen, like for this to kind of hit the mainstream and in my naivete. And then I just decided after a while, well, I'm going to start an organization with the sole purpose of cultivating the meditators to continue this critically important research. And so that's where we came to be today. And I set about is how do you get a city to meditate? It was a big question. And each year we would do another project and we'd learn a little bit more and learn a little bit more. And when we finally hit the proper ratio of the number of meditators to the population size, then we got the measurements I always knew we could get. And that is, we found a 25% reduction in violence in Schenectady, New York, and a 30% reduction in crime in Albany, New York. Okay. And so my highest hope was always to have Albany kind of build the prototype and to bring it to other cities. And it's been this incredible pleasure through the help of Tom Williams and Reverend Valerie Mansfield and the incredible group at Unity and all of our partners. Like, wow, I just, people speak so highly of Louisville and I'm seeing why. So I'm just absolutely thrilled to be working with you all. So just to show you about how important you are to the whole, I want to show you something and I'll walk you through it. It is a graph. Try not to, have your eyes glaze over because I'm going to make it look really straightforward. And that is that if you look at this graph and you look at this x-axis, do you see that number from 1 to 8? That is merely 8 weeks, okay? 1 week to 8 weeks. And these are the 8 weeks before there was a conference for the Transcendental Meditation Organization in 1993 in Washington, D.C. Okay. And this is just one of their incredible research studies that we are so blessed to have them have done this work. So it's 8 weeks before the conference. And if you look at this y-axis here, it says coherence creating group size. All that means is the group of meditators. Okay. And so you can see it's written in green. And if you follow this green line, you will see that this number goes up. Right. So approximately there were almost 4,000 meditators in this study. And so over the 8 weeks, more and more people came into Washington, D.C. in 1993 doing the meditations for peace. And they get to the end here. And then if you'll see that this y-axis on the right is actually the change in crime. So it's a percent change in homicides, rapes, and assaults that were happening in Washington, D.C. during that time. So if you see that this kind of tan line, brown line is kind of going down. So look at this. Isn't this interesting? That as the number of meditators are going up, the percent drop in crime is also going up, actually down, right? So basically this direct relationship between the number of meditators and the decrease in crime. Do you see how important you are to the whole? Do you see how if for the next 10 days you might say, oh, it doesn't really matter if I show up? Yes, it does. Okay, yes, it does. And understand that the old professor I worked with, he said to me to help me get my head around this. He said, Bethany, these results are off the charts. And in fact, what they say is that the chance of this ever happening by chance is less than 2 in 1 billion, that this could ever be done by chance. So some people have said to me, well, the TM organization has done it all. Why are you bothering? And I say, because are we exhibiting this? Are we demonstrating this? Are we living this? Do we understand who we are? That we don't have to feel victimized by what's going on around us, that we can invite blessings to an area and to see a percent drop. It's a beautiful thing. It's an absolutely beautiful thing. And I want you to understand how important you are to this work. Because quite honestly, as the old professor told me, most people have to go through 4 paradigm shifts before they can get the fact that their intentions actually have impact in the world around us. So for those few of us that understand how this works, we need to come together. We need to hold space because a lot of people just aren't at this level of understanding, and that's fair. My hope for this research was that I would be able to provide opportunities to empower people on who they are in the etheric. In fact, it was years ago where my heart was closed, and it was a prayer research study that opened my heart to the fact that there could be something beyond me and to re-engage with a divine loving intelligence. So it's the spirit behind this of, can we leave breadcrumbs in the sand for future generations to follow? Can we understand what is this phenomenon? Can everyday ordinary people do it? Not just people trained in advanced meditation, but the common folk, can we do it? And our research has so far shown, yes, we're in the beginning stages. This is seminal research, but we won't know until we do it. And we can't do it unless people like you who have these understandings actually become part of the sacred mission to do this work. So I'm going to move on now really quickly to some of the questions that people have on how this is going to roll. Essentially, if you go to peacefulcities.org, we will send you an email every day. At the top of the email will be a 20-minute meditation. And all you need to do is click on that and get quiet and follow, open your heart, send blessings, you're good, right? So that's the one thing. It's going to be sent out from September 11th to September 21. And we invite people to participate at either 7 a.m., 12 noon, or 7 p.m. Now that's ideal. If you can't make one of those times, please do it anytime. But the idea that there's something called a dosage effect, that the more we dose, the more we give, we come together in the etheric, the more of an impact that we'll have. So 7 a.m., 12 noon, 7 p.m. Also, other question is, can anyone participate? Do you have to be in Louisville? No, you don't, because we're all connected in the field. It's completely irrelevant on where you are. I remember years ago, I got this beautiful letter and someone wrote in a small check and this note, and it basically said, I live in Australia. I don't know anyone from Albany, New York. A friend of mine told me about your work, and I've had tears coming down my face as I've been sending blessings to people in Albany, New York. And that just showed me the rare opportunities that this research provides, this rare opportunity to open these sacred doors within us. And there she was, feeling the love for humanity, for people, strangers on the other side of the globe. And if peace is ever going to happen, it's that level of sweetness that we need to be able to access regularly. And this encouraging people from other parts of the globe to beam in helps contribute to that brotherly love. So let's see, it'll be a 20-minute meditation. So schedule your morning accordingly if you do it in the morning. It's also a double-blind research project. So this is our very first year with this protocol. And we're doing this for many reasons, but understand that in the end, the focus area that we're going to choose is dependent on a couple things. One, the number of meditators, and two, the numbers to work with. You need a robust number to work with if we're going to reduce it, right? If the numbers were really small, there's nowhere to reduce it, right? So, so years ago, now, Dr. John taught me, that we need to go with the higher numbers. So we're going to choose that, and basically nobody's going to know what the focus area is. Okay, so all we're going to do is a symbol that represents the focus area. Nobody will know until it's released. The results are released with Dr. Reinhold after she analyzes the data. So then, why can this happen? Because this is who we are. That there is a portion of you that fire can't burn, that water can't get wet. There is a portion of you that is non-local, that is far beyond the five senses. And we are employing our larger nature, our larger wisdom, our larger understanding, and saying, we're going to send peace to this area that has been represented in the etheric, and we're going to send blessings to that area. This is not a new concept. It's actually used a lot with things called remote viewing, things like that. So, but know that this is the type of changes that our lives shift a little bit when we come to understand that this is the level that we're playing at. Okay. Understand that your nervous system lets in less than 1% of the reality around you, right? We have these five senses that basically cripple us into small auditory bands, small visual bands, whatever. There's this whole larger nature. There's this whole story going on all around us all the time. And because of our nervous system, we've kind of crippled ourselves. And what this work does is enable us to bring in that larger nature, that pure positive energy, that when we take our last breath from this world and we emerge into our larger nature, like we're just starting to work from that. Okay. So understand that that's what I wanted with all of this work, is to empower each of us to really work at the full capacity of who we are. Okay. So I believe I said everything else. Is, again, the goal is to empower people, right? So there's that. Now, finally, I want to tell you about the benefits, the goodies that you're going to experience by participating in the Peace Project. And I know this because we've been at this for years, and we're already reporting some of these effects with the volunteers in Louisville. Okay. This is the sweetness. This is what keeps me going. This is the truth of who we are. And when we touch these spaces, we become highly resilient. We become more loving, more fun-loving. We start to remember that we're supposed to hold this world lightly and not be my attitude is I never felt like I wanted to be here and feel like a kicked puppy or a hurt puppy, right? That's not the truth of who we are. Who we are these infinite creatures, these infinite beings, and coming into command of that and becoming aware of that in our everyday lives creates this incredible resilience and happiness. So what happened was people would participate in peace projects, and by the end, they'd be like, the word would be crazy happy. Like they'd be crazy happy by the end of the Peace Project, especially when we used to do it for a month. It would help people move through places in their lives where they were like emotionally trapped and things like that. And so by us moving into the nervous system, by us opening the heart every day, by us expanding the field into our larger nature, what happens is you get happy for no good reason. Like basically nothing could change in your external world, but because you're now kind of filling your own well with the infinite beauty that you are, with the real you, basically, then happiness is incredibly increases. There's no magic here, but we did measure it up to an 84% in happiness in just 8 days. This study is going to be a little bit longer. So, again, we're not measuring this time due to lack of funding. Funding for this can be really challenging. Most people are not inspired to give money to adults sitting on their behinds, sending intentions. So funding has been a little bit difficult, but so we're unable to measure at this time. But that being said, I guarantee you that over time, over the 8 or 10 days, what I want you to do is to take a moment and to notice each day how you might be feeling a little bit lighter, how you might think of an old challenge and suddenly notice that you're approaching it from a different perspective. There's nothing magical going on there. All you're doing is you're getting calibrated to the field. You're literally lifting off burdens off your heart. You're expanding your energy field as you widen your awareness about being your brother's keeper and sister's keeper, and you are coming into the full breadth of who you are, and you can't help but feel beauty and fabulousness. And when you start doing that, you realize it was there all along. Like there's nothing magical going on here. This is like we've been holding a buoy underwater, and when you let go of the buoy, it comes up with so much force, it was there all along. So I'm encouraging you as you go through each day, allow yourself to feel the lightness, allow yourself to feel yourself shifting in your relationship to the field of divine love. Allow yourself to feel nourished in it. Allow yourself to feel the luxury of love, right? Because love is infinite. We are the only ones who block it, okay? Understand that love goes on and on and on and on. And it's how much can we tolerate, endure feeling bliss? How much can we endure feeling love? How much can we endure feeling sweetness and beauty and gorgeousness? And people think that that's not, oh, isn't she, like they kind of, I joke about people kind of making fun of me over the years, like, isn't she cute? All her love and light. And she thinks like it'll make a difference. No, what you understand is that beauty is palpable, that gorgeousness is real. It's a solid place within you. It creates incredible resilience. And there's nothing, it's the truth of who you are. And unfortunately, in our culture, nobody tells us the truth of who we are. We're constantly being told of who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to behave or whatever. But what if you just kind of came in and you reconnected to the you of you? The you that's connected, the you that came here for a sacred mission, possibly even to do part of this work. Right? And so my hope is that you take that journey with you, even after you finish the peace project. We're hoping to do more work after this peace project, but because there's so much research we need to do to leave for the next generation. Why should they meander in the dark so long the way we have, when we can leave breadcrumbs in the sand to keep this going? So, I want you to just, in closing, don't see, what happens is people say, oh, well, that happened and then it didn't stay, it didn't last, so it wasn't real. Oh, no, it was real. We just need to cultivate the discipline of being able to maintain it, right? It's like tuning an instrument, right? So you can tune the instrument, but the instrument will get, out of tune if you don't keep tuning it. Or going to the gym, you wouldn't just go to the gym once and assume that you'd stay at the gym, right? No, we need to practice moving, staying, getting into command of our nervous system, coming into a command of our energy field, and to hold these beautiful spaces over time. And one of the side benefits of that is that when you're calibrated to the field, more synchronicities happen, more beauty happens, you get to work less hard and you get to enjoy things more, and things work out better for you because you don't have so many blocks between you and the field. So I hope I've inspired you to participate, how important you are to the whole, how much we can leave breadcrumbs for the next generation, which has always been my goal for my own children. I wanted to empower them. I want them to know who they are so that they don't have to wait. And then finally, you get to go on this gorgeous journey within your own heart. And I would love to hear about whatever you uncover, whatever you explore, whatever what's the word I want? Spontaneous kind of ahas that happen. Feel free to write me somehow through the website, and I would love to hear your progress. And thank you so much, Louisville. You guys are amazing. I mean, to have a city with the charter for compassion. I mean, I've just been so impressed with working with the people of Louisville. And someday I hope to be there in person and meet you all in person. Thank you all so much. Please participate and share this with as many people as possible. We need this work for the future. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.